The first image of change that we will be looking at is in southern West Morocco. And in this image, you can truly see that the population starts to grow from the center of the area and expands at a rapid pace towards the coastal area. And this is a very dramatic increase. Secondly is another coastal area in the United Arab Emirates. And over their land, more buildings appear, but the main growth happens over the water, where a lot more structures can be seen over time. And these structures are for mainly working instead of housing, which would be more on the mainland. Next up is Nevada, more specifically Las Vegas. And this one has a huge increase of buildings to accommodate for the huge increase of population. It's almost like an explosion of buildings. Now is Shanghai in China, and another coastal area where the coast actually retreats slightly to accommodate for the buildings going more towards the ocean. And especially on the left, there's a huge increase in buildings. Finally is San Antonio in Texas, which is actually the biggest change of the images I've shown. As you can see, it's just so many more buildings and many new roads just appear all over this area to really accommodate the rising population. The increase in population is one contributor towards global warming. However, the main contributor of global warming is the burning of fossil fuels. Now, the burning of fossil fuels can consist of when factories produce them or even as you drive your car. So as you drive your car produces the fossil fuels and the CO2 into the atmosphere. And because of the greenhouse effect, which keeps heat down in our atmosphere, that CO2 gets stuck. And because there's an abundance of the CO2, that heats up our waters, starts to melt our ice, and causes the flooding and droughts that we are suffering today. However, there is still hope if we all come together and try to fix the issue. So with my solution, I have first off reduced the amount of coal slightly, reduced the amount of oil and natural gas in a significant way, and actually increased a bit of nuclear energy. But the main things I increased were especially renewables such as wind and sunlight, and then bioenergy. For transportation, I increased the amount of electrification and energy efficiency, and the electrification will help with things such as rechargeable electric cars, so they will not have to produce the fossil fuels. I have increased those things as well for buildings and industries to help produce less fossil fuels when they need to run their buildings. Next up, I took the logical approach for growth and increased the amount of population because that is predicted on many charts. And then I also decreased the amount of economic growth slightly because we can never truly predict what's going to happen with that. So for land and industry emissions, I have significantly decreased deforestation because we cannot continue to keep cutting down our forests. The trees are what absorb a lot of CO2 in the air and then produce oxygen. So if we are getting rid of that point of getting rid of carbon, that is going to leave a lot more CO2 in the air, which is not healthy for us. And they also decrease methane and others, and we do that by using less cows, using less beef and stuff like that, because cows produce methane when they pass gas. Finally, I have increased the amount of afforestation, otherwise just known as planting trees and other plants, and I've also significantly increased the amount of technological ways that we could potentially solve this issue and reduce carbon in our atmosphere. With the new large number of trees that we would have planted, that would significantly help reduce the carbon, because the trees would be absorbing the carbon to then produce out oxygen for us to breathe. The finances for this will play out something like this according to the simulation. So it will start off by, in 2020, the price will increase from about $25 to $35, so an increase of $10. However, after that spike, for the next about 70 years, it will slowly decrease from 35 back down to 25 and even lower down to all the way to 15, which is $10 less than originally was being paid. And that will, thankfully, according to the simulation, cause the temperature to simply fall down to 1.5 degrees Celsius and plateau there. So as the price for energy plateaus at $15, $10 less than originally was being paid, the temperature will thankfully stop at 1.5 degrees Celsius as well. With my simulation, one of the most important things that I believe it shows is that there is always hope to solve the issue of climate change. And another piece of hope that we have is just my adorable kitty that I thought I should put at the end of the video, and also a picture of my dog. I love them both so much, and thank you for listening to my video.